Hey guys, what is up? As some of you know, if you've been paying attention to my channel lately, I've been working on trying to improve as a fisher, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. But this is not the first or even second time I've attempted to learn this play style. I've made a number of attempts after watching players like Goof and Pep. You show me how exciting that play style can be. And like a lot of other people I've talked with, despite making a number of runs at this play style, I had not had any success with it, and I would end up just getting frustrated and sort of retreating to my original rustic play style. And most recently, I actually had some success with this approach, and a huge shout out and thanks to Nymph and Goblin for spending time helping me out. And what I realized is that even before you start to learn things like pivots and roll backstabs, there's actually a number of things that you have to know and be comfortable with in preparation to do those things. And I think if you spend some time with what I call kind of the pre-work, it'll make it a lot easier. So the first step is to actually be a good rustic player, and I imagine the majority of people watching this video aren't going to have any problems with that, but unless you already have the basics down pretty well, you're not going to have any success fishing. Fishing very much builds on the skills that you develop as a rustic player. You have to understand the basics of spacing. Spacing's key. You have to understand all the weapons and their move sets. You have to understand why it is that running away from a player will cause you to get hit even when it appears that you're out of their space, but you can get a lot closer without being hit as you move into their space. So you need to know something about the net code. In other words, you just need to have a sort of basic familiarity and comfort with the game overall, because you're going to be learning a lot of new things as a fisher, and you don't want to learn too many new things all at once. So this foundation, it's really important. This is going to bring us to step 2, learning to play unlocked and roll BSing. You need to have a general level of comfort with being unlocked. This is a huge thing, and roll BSing helps you understand where the grab box is, when you can grab people. You can either unlock when you roll, as I did here, or you can be unlocked the whole time. I recommend learning to unlock as you roll. That's really effective. But really, the concept of roll backstabs and the details of, I'll have a link to Goof's video, and I don't really have time to get into the details here. This brings us to step 3, the pivot pre-work. I cannot emphasize this step enough. Really, all I'm doing here is I'm running with my shield up to a specified point. I'm pulling back on the stick while I hold my shield up so that I don't do the left my kids at Walmart turn. And then I'm pressing R1. I'm not pressing R1 immediately after I turn, and there you can see I had too much curve, so I did a running attack. You don't want running attacks, you want to pull straight back. And you don't want to press R1 immediately after you pull back. You want to wait just a split second. It may be the case that you can do them at the same time. I've not had as much luck there. So you just want to have this committed to muscle memory, because when we go to do the pivot, we're going to add in the right spacing, the right timing, and you don't want to have to think about these steps as well. You want this committed to muscle memory so it's just effortless. So just this running back and forth, pull back, hold the shield up, press R1. You can drop the shield before you press R1, or you can leave it up. I find it easier to leave the shield up. So once you've got that step down, then you can actually get to actually executing pivots. Now, all you're doing is the thing that we did in the last step, running forward, holding the shield up, pulling back, pressing R1, but now obviously you need to make sure that you have the right position on the enemy. I'll leave a link to Goof's video. I stole this idea from him, specifically these halberd enemies, the PvE, using them for practice on pivots. They're really good practice. I had less luck with the Lothric Knights. I know that was another enemy that Goof recommended, and I'm probably not yet good enough to be able to execute pivots on those enemies. But you can practice with these guys endlessly. Take off the Hornet Ring, take off any weapon that you might have. There's a guy running around with the Great Axe. He'll mostly leave you alone if you stay kind of in the area I am, and you can see him there off to the right. You can also kill him before you start. And you can just do this for hours, and I have, and it's helped me an awful lot. I will warn you though that learning this mechanic takes a really long time. It's not going to come easily or quickly, but practicing against PvE helps get all the right timing down, because obviously once you go online, you're going to add in the additional complications of lag and latency and having to predict player positions. And not only that, but you're going to also have to get the right reads on your opponents to know when you can execute a pivot like this, which is a whole other problem onto itself. I'll leave the links to two of Goof's videos. He has two awesome videos, one on how to execute roll backstabs, another on how to execute pivots. I think the one on pivots is really useful, but I think you need a lot of this sort of pre-work, this understanding of game mechanics for you to get the most value out of that. I think probably the final lesson is good luck and don't get frustrated, guys. This will take you a while. Thanks.